Hi everyone, welcome back to Crochet Rocks. Tracy here, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make this absolutely beautiful soft chenille baby blanket. It has the Alpine stitch and around the border just a UK double crochet, which is a single crochet in the US, but I've changed colour to incorporate the stripes that I've made just to set it off, make it pop. So it's a simple border, a simple kind of blanket once you get the hang of the stitch. It's just a very easy pattern to repeat, but lovely and effective, and it looks really nice in this chenille yarn. I'm just going to clear this away for a second and then I'll show you the yarn that I've used for it. I'll pop it down here. So I'm using this James C. Brett Flutterby. It is absolutely gorgeous and soft, really, really beautiful. And I'm using 3 colours. I have white, obviously, and this one I think is called, it doesn't actually tell me, does it? They have got 2 different names. I think this one's Sky and Baby Blue, I think. But all of the stuff that I'm using today, whether it's the yarn, the crochet hooks, the darning needle to sew it up, or my scissors, all are in my shop, hobbyrocks.co.uk. There's a link in the description box for that and the current promotion that's going on. So while I clear this away and get started, if you haven't already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. I'll be right back. Okay, so I've done a couple of swatches as well to show you what it would look like in an ombre yarn that is kind of multicoloured, and this is a DK. It's kind of a thick DK, so I have seen some 4-weight yarns this thickness. It is quite a chunky kind of makeup, I think, this one, compared to most DKs. So it's on the larger side of DK, but look at that stitch definition. It really does look nice with that kind of marble yarn where it has that white going through the colour. So that's one of my swatches, and the other one, it does have a tendency to curl when it's small, but it does work its way out. This is what it looks like with an ombre, and again I think that looks really, really nice. A yarn that is a true ombre where it goes from very pale all the way up to the darker. That's how it works up. Really, really effective. Okay, so this is a multiple of 2 + 1. So James C. Brett Flutterby is classed as a chunky, but it's chenille and it has a lot of drape. It's a nice fluffy kind of yarn. So I've used 2 hooks for this, and I've used a 6.5 to make my foundation chain, and then I switched to a 6mm. And the reason for that is that if you're not careful, if you don't use a larger hook to make your chain, then it can pull in at the bottom. It kind of just needs that little bit more elasticity, if that's the right word. So okay, well, let's get started then. My blanket that you just saw was for a newborn, and it was for a pram or, you know, that sort of stroller and that kind of thing. So I did a multiple of 70 + 1, so 71 gave me that size of blanket. But I'm just going to do a swatch of around 20 at the moment. So while I'm doing my chain, which is, I'm assuming you know how to do all of the stitches that I'm going to do today. If not, I will let you know. We're going to do chains. We're going to do the UK treble crochet, which is a double crochet in the US, and the UK double crochet, which is a single crochet in the US, and a slip stitch. That is really all we're going to do. So if you need to brush up on that, then please do before you watch this tutorial. I'm going to pause it while I do my 21. So I'm going to do 20 + 1. Okay, so I've done that. So now I'm going to switch to my 6mm hook, and I've done my extra one. There's my 20 + 1. In the second chain, I'm going to insert, pull up my loop, and do a UK double crochet, which is a single in the US, and I'm going to do 1 in every single stitch along. Nice and simple. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. And so again, I'll pause the video. I need to pull some yarn. I'll pause the video and I'll catch up with you when I get to the very last one. Okay, so here I am. I've got one more to do. There we are. And that's that. So this is what we have now. And so I'm going to turn my work. I'm not going to chain. Okay, not going to chain. I'm going to make sure this one is nice and loose. And then I'm just going to go straight back into that same stitch and do another UK double crochet US single and 1 in each one along. Now I'm doing another row because if you don't, then when you have your pattern, you end up with this row being the reverse row, like the back, and I want this row to be prominent. Otherwise this will, you know, the back of this is not the best stitch. So that's why I'm going to do another row exactly the same as the previous. Okay, so again I will pause this one and catch up with you when I get to the end. I don't know why I'm struggling to get into there. Okay. Okay, so I'm back again, and you can easily get into the last stitch. If you didn't make it too tight, like I said, make it nice and loose, and there we are, we're all the way along. So we've got 2 rows now. I'm going to turn my work and I'm not going to chain. I'm going to do the stacked, in the US this would be called the stacked double crochet, single crochet. We would call it the stacked double crochet. So how I'm going to do that is just to make sure I insert my yarn into that same first stitch and yarn over and pull through both. Now this one on the side here, you need to go into there, yarn over and pull through. You've got 2 loops on, yarn over and pull through. And that will give me a nice substantial chunky stitch over this side rather than just 2 turning chain. If you don't want to do that, you can just do 2 turning chain, but this stacked UK double, stacked US single is my way to go from now on. So now I'm going to do 1 UK treble or US double crochet in every single stitch all the way along. I'm getting a little hot. I'm working with chenille. It's a very hot thing, so I might have to wipe my hook if it's going to start to squeak in a moment. Okay, so that's nice and easy. 1 in every stitch all the way along. So again, rather than to have you watch me do that, which it can be boring, I'm going to pause it and I'll catch up with you when I get to the bottom of this row. Okay, so I'm at the end. Now I'm going to change colour. Now I do have a new way of changing colour, but I'll stick to the traditional way for now because I've already introduced one new thing on this and I feel like I don't want to confuse. So I'm going to leave my 2 loops there. I'm going to cut my white, and now I'm going to bring in my lighter of those 2 blues, and this is where we start the repeat. So bear with me one moment. I'm going to bring in my new colour. I'm going to finish that stitch. Now I find it helps to hold on to that at the same time and bring in my new colour. So I've got them all nicely held together there and finish that stitch. That way it doesn't get baggy. Okay, so I'm just going to give it one little tie because I don't want it to work loose and become annoying. So I'm going to show you how I work my ends in. When I do this, I might give it another little tie actually. I know some people don't like to tie, but having had a few things that have come open on me, you know, don't like that. So I'm just going to take my hook out of here for now. I'm going to make that a little bit bigger if I can. There we are. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert my hook in between, and I'm going to wrap this tail that I want to hide and pull it through. And then, you don't have to do this, of course, you can sew, but I don't like sewing. I'm going to go back through the next one, through the 2 loops, and pull that yarn through there. And then I'm going to do that until I'm satisfied that I have done enough of it to secure it for a while. And then I'll just work over it, the rest. I did actually leave a longer tail than I normally do, so I'll make this the last one. Okay, so back to work. Okay, it does look different, but it's not too sad. Okay, so this row, I want to pull that slightly, but not too much, because we want that loose, that loop. Now I'm going to make sure that my yarn is at the back while I'm working through it. I've seen some people put it forward, but you will see it. So I'm going to pull it to the back, and in this stitch here I'm going to just insert my hook straight away, pull up a loop, and working over that tail I'm just going to do a whole row of double crochet UK or single crochet in the US. This is the start of our repeat as well, so I'm just going to go all the way to the end. So I'm working over the blue one and then working over both of them when I get to this point here, and that just so happens that I'm only now working over one. And I'm going to go all the way to the end, just doing this all the way across. So I'm just with my loop, there it is. I'm going to pause it then, and I will catch up with you when I get to the end again. I am back. So here I am at the end, and because I did that stack, I have 2 loops there, nice and easy. Don't have to struggle to get into the chain or ignore the chain. Nice and simple to keep your stitch count. Okay, so I've done my row. I'm going to turn my work, and I'm going to not do any chain. And again, I'm going to do that stack in this first stitch. So that's into that side one, just the side one. And if you get confused, just go back and watch that other one again. So now this is the start of our repeat, as I said, and we're not going to go into this stitch. We're going to do a front post stitch around a front post treble or double US around this. So we're going to yarn over, we're going to go into the gap and out the other side. We're going to yarn over and pull up quite high, because we need the stitch to be the same height as our other stitches. Okay, so that's what that looks like. And now we're going to do one in the next stitch. And in the next stitch, we're going to ignore this one because we've just been into this one above it. And we are going to go and do a front post around the next stitch. Pull it up so it becomes nice and tall. And then in the next one, next stitch here, we're just going to do a normal UK treble or US double. And then we're going to miss this one because we've been in this stitch. And in this one, we're going to front post. So we're going to go round the back, pull up our loop, pull it high to make it the same height. And in the next one, we're just going to do that all the way to the end. So I'm going to pause it for now. I'll do one more with you because I'm going to ignore this one because I've been into this stitch, round the back, pull up, there we are. And in the next one, a regular stitch. Okay, so we're going to repeat that, and I'll catch up with you when I get to the last few stitches. Okay, so I've done my last spike stitch, and I've got 2 stitches left. I've got this one and the one above it, and I've got my other one there. You can see the 2 loops. So I'm just going to do 2 UK trebles, US doubles, but I'm not going to finish this last one. I'm going to do half of it, and now I'm going to change colour again. Snip off this colour, and just let me get that out of the way. Dropped it on the floor. Would have been really out of the way. Okay, so put that over there. And I'm going to bring in the darker blue. Again, I'm going to just hold that behind and finish the stitch. And I will give it that little tie. I'll try and just do one this time. I'll do it that way. So I want this yarn to bury that just a little bit, as I did before. If I can find the end, there it is, just to bring it along a little bit. It does actually have little tufts that fly off this yarn, but from the ends, which is a bit irritating. It does get on my nose a little bit, but it's just my favourite of all the chenilles, I have to say. I don't suppose I've used them all, but of all the ones I have used, this is by far my favourite one. It is just so soft and has a lovely drape to it and beautiful colours in it as well, and not as thick as some, so it's quite willowy. Okay, so that's enough of that. Then pull that so it comes round. Actually, I want it through the front, don't I? That's silly me. Okay, I'm going to work over the tail at the same time. Didn't do a very good job of that. I'm sure you do a better job than I did. Anyway, there we go. I'm going to do my next row is, whenever we change colour, we will do, the very first row will be just one row of US singles or UK double crochets, and I'll work over the tail as I go. Now, if that is a little bit messy on that end, it doesn't matter, because a border's going to go in there and it will hide those joins in any case. If I show you my blanket, you won't see any of that at the end. Okay, so just as we did before, all the way along till we get to the end, and I will catch up with you. I'm going to pause it. I'll catch up with you when we get back to the end. Okay, so I've made it all the way to the end, and now I'm going, this is not exactly the same as this row here, but these 4 rows kind of are our repeat. So again, I'm going to do my stack stitch in the corner, and if you're not doing that, obviously you'll chain 2. Okay, so now this is our last stitch, and our first one that you come to has a spike beneath it. So we're just going to do 1 UK treble or US double in there, because we don't spike in a spike. We spike in the next one, and it lays slightly back, so you want to just go behind it again, pull up your yarn, finish your stitch, and in the next one, which will have a spike above it, below it I mean, you do the regular stitch. Now we're going to do the spike one on this one that lays back, and in the next one the regular stitch. We're going to do that all the way to the end of the row. Of course, you can make your blanket as big as you want. You don't have to change colour. You can just do all one colour. You can change colour every couple of rows if you wanted to. Okay, so I'm going to pause it. I'm going to do this all the way along until I get to the last couple of stitches, and then I'll come back to you. Okay, so this time, when we get to the end, we have our normal, next one is a spike stitch. Okay, can't get in there. So we do our normal stitch, and now we've got 2 at the end. We've got this one and this one. So this stitch here we are going to do as our normal spike stitch. And then in that last one, we're going to do our regular stitch. So they will alternate our rows. Oh, actually, I changed colour there, so I will leave that 2 loops on the hook. So yeah, they alternate. On one row we have the 2 at the beginning, and the other row we have the 2 at the end. So now I'm going to change to the white again, because that was my pattern, but Of course, you don't have to do that, and it depends how big your stripes are, if you're doing any stripes. But for me, I did 12 rows of white, and I'll show you on my blanket how we did that. So this is upside down, of course, it would be. It wouldn't be me if things weren't upside down. Okay, so here we are. That's how I started, and I changed my colour. I did 12 rows, which gives me 6. If you ever get in any confusion, if you're doing the same as me, just count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you will finish on that row, and of course change colour on the UK double, US single crochet. So that is what I've done. So now I'm on the row where I change back to my white yarn, which I've just getting it back again because I've put it aside. I'm going to finish that stitch with the white. Okay, and I will give it a little time because I'll do just one this time. I'm not see what I mean about the tufts, they do come off, which is get up my nose big time. I won't work over the end this time. I'll just show you. Actually, I will do it, but I'll work over them both at the same time instead. So pulling those round this end, and we are going to go into our first stitch, which is here, the one that we've just come out of, and nice loose loops. I don't think that was loose enough, that one. Let's do that again. Let's pull it in. It's really hard on chenille yarn sometimes to pull it and get it loose. It's the tufts that kind of do that, the nap. So I'm just going to do one, as before, in every stitch all the way along. That got tucked in. Working over both tails as I go. That's one wasn't very long, so it didn't really matter too much. Okay, so I'm going to do that all the way until the end, and I'll come back to you. Okay, so here we are. See, it's not curling with this yarn. I think it might be that I might have used a crochet hook that was too small with those swatches that I did, and I didn't do them very big either. So now I'm just going to carry on with the pattern. I'll do another part with you because as I said to you before, it is a little different on the, you just repeat the 4 rows. So on this first stitch, I've got a nice baggy loop. I'm going to do my stack. Okay, and because we have the 2 stitches at the beginning of our work, I'm going to make this one my spike, my front post. Pull it up, make it tall, and in the next one, as you can see, it's just a normal stitch. And I'm going to carry on doing that all the way along until I get to the end, and then I'll come back to you. Okay, so at this end we have our 2 stitches, and there's our first one. As I say, don't worry if it looks messy around the ends, it doesn't matter. We have our border to take care of that. Okay, we're not changing any more, changing colours for the next 10 rows because it was 12 rows. That gives you the 6 stitches. So I'm going to pause it there, do the rest of my rows, and I'll come back to you. Okay, so here we are. Now I've run out of yarn on that ball. So what I'm going to do is, rather than show you again further and further, because I don't really need to make this any bigger, I'm going to now show you what I did with my border. So because I've run out of yarn, I'm going to end off there because it's going to get bulky and a bit messy. So I don't really want to do that. And I'm going to join the yarn at another corner. So I'll choose this one because it's far away. So if this, you don't have to do this, you can just carry on from where you left off. It's hard to get your hook in. Not very pointed, this one. I want to get in the 2 loops. It's not gonna let me, okay, there, I might make a hole doing that. I just want to get between that one and that one. There we go. Made it. Okay, so I'm just going to rejoin there. There we are. Okay, and I'm going to do one little chain and cinch it down rather than a knot. Okay, so what I did, this is my corner. So that was my, if that's my first stitch, and no, that'll be my first stitch. That's my second. I'm doing very well because I ended my yarn. And now we're going to pick up some stitches all the way along, but we want to make sure we do them in a uniform way. Nice sort of space between each. And we're going to pick up along the side and just do our UK double crochets or US single crochets. And now that you can see, it's not going to matter too much about that end because it's going to get buried in all this fluffy, beautiful yarn. And I've got more tufts. It's lovely yarn, but that is quite an irritant sometimes when it gets up your nose. There we go, gone. Let's move the tuft. And as you can see, just pick them up at equal intervals all the way along. I try to get in between if I can, rather than take a whole stitch. It's quite easy with the stack stitch to do that. Not in that particular part, but maybe here it is. So that's what we're doing, just picking up stitches all the way along until we get to the other corner. So I'm going to pause it, and it's a bit tedious otherwise just watching me pick up. But as long as you make it so that it's in, you can kind of judge how far away the next one needs to be. Like that one might be a little bit too near. Would it be too near? Maybe not. You soon find out if it bunches. But then this one makes up for it. Okay, actually I'll stay with you. I'm nearly there. I'm just trying my best not to be boring. Nearly there. This is where so many projects can go wrong. If you don't space it well enough, you'll have too many on one side and too few on the other. Another area where it can go wrong is right here, right in the corner, because sometimes when you're doing 3 stitches in your corner, it's hard to judge where your actual corner is. And so this is my corner right here. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3 in the same stitch to turn the corner. And then we get, this edge is lovely because you have just the normal stitch to go into. It's just pulling them up all the way along. Okay, so that is as simple as my border got. I'll bring it in and show you. I did 2 rows of white and then I changed colour. You can end off and begin a new colour, work over the tail. You just need to take care that you're going in the middle stitch of your 3 each time. And I changed colour, did the light blue just like I did here, then the darker blue, and then 1 row of white. So I don't feel like you need to watch all of those rows as long as you're picking up. See, if you look, and if that looks like it's nice and flat and it's not bunching, then that's cool. Then you've done the right amount. So just be very mindful of your spacing when you're picking up along the side. Along the top is nice and easy, and along the bottom because you've got your stitches to go into. Okay, so that's it. If you want to follow mine exactly, I will put all of the dimensions in the description box, all of the materials used. I used, for my blanket, 3 balls of white. I didn't use it all, and just 1 of each of these colours. But as I said, I had enough left over to make this and another swatch that I was practicing on. So yeah, you will have yarn left over if you have 3 of these, but you will only need 1. And if you've got half balls left over from another project, then that's all you're going to really need, because you know, you don't use masses of the colour, unless of course you make your blanket bigger. But if you do, remember that it's just multiples of 2 plus 1, and you can make it as big as you want in as many colours as you want. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you on the next one. And as I said before, if you haven't already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Bye for now.